Imagine a peaceful river, flowing smoothly without disruption. Now, imagine the same river suddenly hit by a dam breach. The waters would flood, unpredictable and destructive, sweeping away anything in its path. This is what a quarrel can do in our relationships, a breach that starts small but can grow uncontrollably, leaving lasting damage. Proverbs 17:14 serves as a powerful reminder: starting a quarrel is like breaching a dam, so drop the matter before a dispute breaks out. It offers timeless wisdom on how to prevent conflicts before they escalate, guiding us toward peace, understanding, and emotional maturity. But how does this apply to our daily lives? And why is it so crucial to our well-being? Let's take a deeper dive into this ancient verse and discover how it can transform the way we navigate relationships, challenges, and emotional turbulence. The emotional intelligence of restraint. Before we can truly understand why Proverbs 17:14 is so valuable, it's important to explore the concept of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, EI, is the ability to understand and manage our own emotions, as well as recognize and influence the emotions of others. It is about being mindful of our feelings and reactions, especially in situations of conflict. In the heat of a quarrel, it's easy to forget our emotional intelligence. Our primitive instincts take over: fight, defend, prove ourselves right. The emotions flare up, and once the quarrel begins, it can seem almost impossible to stop. However, Proverbs 17:14 invites us to recognize that true wisdom lies in stepping back and allowing emotions to settle before we react. When we practice emotional intelligence, we can assess the situation clearly and respond with measured thought, rather than knee-jerk reactions. This wisdom empowers us to drop the matter and avoid the impending breach of the emotional dam. Let's consider an example. Imagine a conversation between two co-workers where one feels slighted. It could be a simple oversight, but their emotional reaction is one of betrayal. Rather than jumping into an argument to defend their stance, they pause, take a deep breath, and think, is it worth it? Is this disagreement worth risking a relationship or my peace of mind? That simple moment of pause is a practice of emotional intelligence, allowing them to step out of the emotional cycle and maintain control over their reactions. The cost of engaging in conflict. Conflict is not just about winning or losing. It's about the cost of emotional, relational, and mental energy that it demands. When a quarrel starts, it takes up so much of our focus. We might find ourselves ruminating on the argument long after it's over, replaying the words, the anger, and the tension. The cost of engaging in conflict can be both visible and invisible. On the surface, it might be a damaged relationship, a loss of respect, or a hurtful exchange of words. But beneath the surface, there is often a hidden cost: stress, anxiety, and even physical health consequences. Chronic conflict can lead to long-term damage to our well-being. Consider this story. A young couple, Sarah and John, had a disagreement about finances. At first, it was about a simple matter, whether to spend money on a vacation or save it for future investments. But Sarah's feelings of being unheard triggered something deeper, and she began to argue her point passionately. John, too, felt misunderstood and began to counterattack with his own set of arguments. The result? What started as a small disagreement over money escalated into an emotional war. They spent the next few days avoiding each other, both hurt by the things they'd said in the heat of the argument. Sarah found herself unable to focus at work, and John couldn't stop thinking about how hurt he felt. Their relationship, once warm and loving, became cold and strained. Had either of them chosen to drop the matter, they could have avoided this emotional toll. The cost of conflict was far greater than the matter at hand. The wisdom of letting go. The essence of Proverbs 17:14 lies in the concept of restraint. Letting go doesn't mean we are weak or submissive. On the contrary, it takes strength to step back from a quarrel and choose peace over ego. The ability to walk away from a conflict is a skill that requires practice and maturity. Let's look at an inspiring story. There was once a great king, known for his wisdom and calm demeanor, even in the face of threats. One day, a fierce rival king challenged him to a war, promising a bloody battle. The advisors urged the wise king to retaliate, to protect his honor and territory. But the king, wise as ever, paused before making a decision. Instead of sending his army into battle, he sent an emissary with a simple message: "Let us seek peace, for bloodshed benefits no one." The rival king was taken aback. He expected a war, but was instead offered peace. The result? The rival king, seeing the wisdom in the king's actions, decided to cease hostilities and negotiated a peaceful settlement. The story of this king shows us the power of choosing peace over conflict. By letting go, the king preserved not only his kingdom but also the lives and well-being of his people. He understood that starting a quarrel is like breaching a dam. Once the floodgates open, it's difficult to reverse the damage. The ripple effect of quarrels. What happens when a quarrel is allowed to continue, unchecked? The ripple effect can be far-reaching. Disputes don't stay confined to one person or one conversation. They often spill over, affecting others around us: co-workers, friends, family members. In some cases, a single quarrel can cause widespread division, sparking new conflicts, alliances, and misunderstandings. A personal example. Several years ago, I was involved in a small argument at work with a colleague. At first, it seemed like a simple difference of opinion. But as time passed, more people got involved. Other co-workers began to take sides, and soon the office was divided. The energy that had once been focused on completing our work was now consumed by gossip and tension. It wasn't just my relationship with the colleague that suffered, the entire office atmosphere was disrupted. Had I chosen to drop the matter early on, we could have avoided the ripple effect that cascaded through the office. Proverbs 17:14 warns us that small conflicts, when allowed to escalate, have a way of affecting everything and everyone in their path. The strength in silence. In the face of conflict, silence can often be more powerful than words. The decision not to respond immediately, to choose silence over reaction, takes great courage. But in this silence, there is power: the power to think clearly, to reflect, and to regain composure. Let's revisit the analogy of the dam. Imagine the water rushing towards the dam, growing stronger and more forceful. If we add more pressure, we're inviting destruction. But if we hold back, if we allow the waters to settle, the dam holds firm, and peace is restored. In our relationships, silence can be that moment of holding back. It is not a surrender, but a conscious decision to prevent the destruction that an uncontrolled quarrel can bring. Instead of jumping into the fray, we give ourselves and others the time to cool down and think rationally. The reward of peaceful living. What happens when we choose peace over conflict? The reward is more than just avoiding arguments. The reward is the fulfillment that comes from nurturing relationships, fostering understanding, and creating an environment of trust. When we embrace the wisdom of Proverbs 17:14 and practice restraint, we not only prevent damage but also invite peace into our lives. Peace in our homes, peace in our workplaces, and peace in our hearts. We cultivate an atmosphere of love, patience, and kindness. Here's a final thought-provoking story. In a small village, there lived a wise elder who was known for his calm demeanor. One day, a young man approached him, frustrated with a family conflict. The young man was eager to prove his point, to get his family to see his side. The elder listened patiently, then said, "Imagine you are holding a heavy stone in your hand. The longer you hold it, the heavier it becomes. If you let go, it becomes light." The young man understood. By holding onto his anger and pride, he was carrying a heavy burden. But by letting go, he could find freedom and peace. The elder's wisdom is a direct reflection of Proverbs 17:14. By letting go, we release ourselves from the burden of conflict and find the peace that comes from wisdom and restraint. The final reflection. Proverbs 17:14 is a call to act wisely, to drop the matter before it escalates, and to recognize that not every battle is worth fighting. The wisdom of restraint holds immense value not just for preventing conflict, but for enriching our lives and relationships. The power of choosing peace and letting go of trivial disputes can transform our emotional landscape and lead to a life of tranquility and harmony. As we go about our days, let us remember the lesson of the dam. Starting a quarrel is like breaching a dam. The flood that follows can destroy everything in its path. But by practicing restraint, we can maintain the peace, the serenity, and the joy that come from choosing to drop the matter before it becomes a dispute.